We are human beings. Each and every one of us. This must not go on.
Olivier Prou is with me. He is the producer of Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, which is the sequel to Human Revolution. Was the idea always to make it a sequel? Because I know that Deus Ex, you can go in a bunch of different directions and you can create a new fiction in any kind of way that you can imagine. Did you guys decide, based on the success of the last one, that you needed to follow up?
Yeah, right off the bat, we wanted to continue with Adam Jensen. We thought he was a very successful character, and we felt that what happened at the end of Human Revolution with the big AUG incident, we felt that this was triggering a really important aspect of the storyline. We want to explore it a bit deeper, that division that it's bringing to mankind with augmented people being segregated in ghettos. We thought this was a very interesting theme to explore.
Mm-hmm.
So.
In the 90s, when the first Deus Ex game was brought out on computers, the idea of this stuff felt so science fiction, augmented human beings. Now you guys have a division within your company where you actually have arms that are based on the video game designs that people can apply to their human bodies. You are making characters in real life that could be in your video game. Does that blow your mind?
It blows my mind every day when I go to the office and to the studio to work. So yeah, we partner with a company called Open Bionics, and they basically use our design of the Adam Jensen arm to produce the bionic for someone to actually use in real life, and it actually works. So it's super exciting for us to be involved in that sort of development, and we feel that we're being part of building the future. So I think for the team to work on the Deus Ex game, it's great because it's really a beloved franchise, but we get to explore those themes of transhumanism, what it means to be human, and also there's a lot of themes of segregation and racism in the game. So these are important themes, and we're really proud to be able to put a video game forward that explores those themes.
I want to get personal here for a second. Where do you stand on this idea of augmented human beings, personally? Not speaking on behalf of the whole team, but you, how do you feel about all of this? Now that you've dived in, you've got a lot of research with this stuff, do you think, it's an inevitability, isn't it? How do you feel about this?
I think this is an amazing tool that's being developed right now for humans, and like any tool, you can use it for good, but potentially use it for bad. So I think that there are some concerns with how you could potentially exploit those augmentations, but at the same time, it could help amputees, it could help potentially people be more efficient at their job, helping their families be more productive. So I think there's great things, but it's not a black or white issue, basically, is what I'm saying.
Right. And do you think fiction, like the stuff that you guys are creating in your games and your comic books and your mobile titles and things like that, is a way to kind of examine this and kind of humanize it and to personalize the experience through these kinds of radical ideas?
Yeah, I think so. I think the beauty of the video game media is that as a player, you're directly involved in the story. You have agency over what's happening, so you get to explore those themes, hands-on.
Yeah.
So we're trying to use that media to have the player ask himself the questions. Adam Jensen, our hero, is a very kind of neutral party in all of this. He's augmented against his will, so he's viewed by suspicion by non-augmented people, but even the augmented population sees him as he's very shiny, very military grade. What is he? So he's a very stranger in the strange land type of situation all the time. So he gets to give you, the player, the opportunity to have a neutral point of view, make your own perspective on what's happening.
Join the fight. Extract the data. Expose the truth. Buona fortuna, Reapers.
The idea was that we wanted to give a new experience to the players on top of the single player. And we were wondering, we kind of thought of going multiplayer, but it didn't feel really right for the franchise. And then we realized that we actually have all those very cool systems in Deus Ex, and when the level designers are creating a game like Deus Ex, it's very constrained by the need for credibility. So when level designers are designing, for instance, in Mankind Divided, there's a theater. And when you enter there, the players know, because it's logic, that there's going to be a backstage, there's going to be stairs and chairs and stuff like that. And it's a very big constraint on level design. So we thought, okay, what if we just remove all those constraints and just have fun with all our tools, all our systems in a very non-credible environment. And we just started designing those very bite-sized levels and having tons of fun with them. And so we thought, okay, we're onto something.
How does Adam Jensen get out of bed every day? He's had nothing but betrayal from all kinds of people, his superiors, the people that he has loved and have loved, have said that they have loved him. Does he have suspicion over everybody? You talk about suspicion. This guy seems like he would be the most suspicious person on the street.
He is a pretty tragic character, that's for sure. And we try to give the player some moments that you have more quiet time with Adam, especially when you start the game. And you see that he's introspective. You can read some of his emails. You can access, different conversations with recurring characters. And you see we have an Adam that's more comfortable with what he is and he accepts what happened. And I think he's trying to use his powers to help improve the situation and understand what happened in the big conspiracy of the previous game. So he's trying to use it for the good.
You guys surprised the world with the quality of the last game. Nobody was expecting the vastness and the polish of Deus Ex on the previous consoles. That's a lot to kind of live up to and to kind of overcome with a sequel. Sure. How did you guys prep for that? And I know that this isn't just like add this feature, slap this feature in there. You guys are talking about a multi-threaded kind of story that's going to tie into all kinds of other media out there. But you also have to make an amazing game that does deliver on some new features. So, what were your steps?
The first step is we didn't want to change the DNA of the game, so we really built on top of what worked really well in Human Revolution. Yeah. So the gameplay mechanics were solid. We felt that the combat aspect of the game was a bit weaker, so we worked really hard on this one to make sure that it comes to about the same level as stealth, to really give the player all the freedom to play how you want to play. We made sure that the story aspect is a bit deeper. You have more agency on the choice and consequences. The ending is much more organic. So all these things were huge priorities for the team, but we didn't make a big revolution of what it is. We just improved some really key areas. As for the expectations for us, of course, we feel the pressure of getting something that's really excellent out there because the expectations are high, but that's a great challenge for the team to be able to live up to this, and everyone's super excited about the game so far, and that's really motivating for the studio.
Very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the sort of new layers of depth? I mean, one of the cool things that was a part of the first game was the ability to kind of pick up all kinds of reading material and sort of dive deeper into lots of story. I know that that's a part of this new game, but what else is in there that sort of embellishes the fiction in the world? It makes us even, feel like we're really getting lost in this world.
I think we have, especially the city hub aspect of the game. We know it was really appreciated in the previous game. So our hubs are even more dense. There's more verticality, more exploration opportunities. The story elements are really strong. We have more characters to talk to. So really, we double down on the social aspect of the game. So yeah, even in terms of the polish of the game, the environments are so rich. When you enter a room, it always kind of tells you a story just through the environment. So there's a lot of work in terms of art and level design that went behind it.
You have a 12-minute catch-up video at the beginning of this game that sort of gives you a little bit of everything from Human Revolution. And as I was watching it, and I've certainly made this parallel before, but there is a lot of stuff that seems similar to the way that Hideo Kojima brought Solid Snake together in Metal Gear. Do you like a comparison like that, or does it feel very different, or do you think it's very different from the type of game that you're making?
I think we can compare the games, definitely, and it's probably one of the inspirations that we had when we started building the franchise in the studio. So that and all the classic cyberpunk work that we know, they've all been used as inspiration.
I won't lie. The VR missions, of course, come to mind. We are also big fans of Portal. So in Breach, you will find more of a puzzle aspect to it than you could find in Mankind Divided in the single player. And there's also a lot of random aspect. That's a very big difference between Breach and Mankind Divided. Is everything that you get, all your weapons, your items, your ammunitions, everything comes in the form of randomized boost packs. And there's a big reason for that. It's that we want to pull players out of their comfort zone. So we think you're gonna play the single player with your preferred play style. You're gonna get very comfortable into it. You're gonna play 40, 50 hours maybe, and then you're gonna come into Breach, and then we're gonna throw something at you, and you're not used to it at all. And if you're up to the challenge, you might actually discover that you like playing another way.
And you mentioned before we started rolling here that you've been doing a lot of, and you and the team have been doing a lot of research into, obviously the cybernetic work that's happening in real life. Can you give us a sense of stuff? That now that I'm sure you've contacted some of these companies and organizations and stuff like, what's coming that's going to blow our minds? That Deus Ex is a game franchise, a fictional game world and franchise that you've created isn't too far from what's actually coming in reality.
I think what happened in the last few years is when the team was building Human Revolution, we read a lot on transhumanism. We consulted with a guy named Will Rossolini, who was an expert in transhumanism, and I think we're kind of ahead of the transhumanism phase, and we're predicting what's happening now. And now what we're seeing is stuff that's being put out there right now is catching up to the fiction, and that's what's really mind-blowing for us. The quality of the body augmentations, what's being done with it, the debates around it, they're real, they're happening right now. So for us, it's really rewarding to see that all the work that we've put in research is actually coming to real life.
Do you guys ever have like the U.S. military show up and just want to kind of see what you guys are working on? I think they would probably want a whole army of Adam Jensens, don't you think? That would be beneficial out in the field, wouldn't it?
We haven't had any black SUVs parked outside the studio yet, so I think we're good for now.
Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.